Okay, hello everyone. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Andrea. I'm part of the private museum. Okay, so today we have Andrea. Andrea is the assistant curator of Singapore Art Museum. She handles the Cambodia, Laos, Vietnamese portfolio, and she is part of the team at SEM, the upcoming Singapore Art Museum finale. Every step in the right direction. She's one of 6 curators, right? Yes. So Andrea is the essay writer for the show, and she's been working very closely with myself and the artists to document and commentate on the process. And we have Madhvi Subrahmanian. She's been in Singapore for about 15 years now, 11 years. Yeah. And she used to be the writer at Business Times. Yeah, she's more than just an artist, she's also a curator. Recently, she co-curated the first ever ceramic trinale in India. It's called Breaking Grounds. Yes. And she's been practicing working predominantly with ceramics, and she has a studio at the famous Jalan Baha Clay Studios. And we have Nandita. Nandita has also been in Singapore for 18 years, right? Yeah. 18 years. And she's been practicing for about close to a decade now. Yeah. And both of their works are about urbanization and nature. When we began this project, I decided to pair them up, because I found that they are actually talking about very important issues that we are facing during this modern times that we live in. With our gadgets, with technology, with the rise, we're so reliant on them. It's important to take a step back and look at the fundamental aspects of life, which is nature. And this exhibition, From Lost Roots to Urban Meadows, focuses on that aspect of how we, in modern times, live with or without nature. So, can we move on to the next slide? So for those who didn't see the exhibition downstairs, this is an overview for it. So you can see that their works are quite large, therefore we can't have the artist talk below. And yeah, these are actually all ongoing works, and they sort of explore further with the concept of how nature blends in with our urban lifestyle. And you can see Nandita's works on the right. Those are the cypress seeds from Spain, and she brought them back to Singapore, and she's been exploring this medium for a while. And there was one exhibition at SEM actually. It was curated by Andrea herself. And this is actually the first time that the cypress seeds take this form. And on the left, bottom left, we have Madhvi. This is actually a new work by her. It's called Floor Plan. And it's commentating about the archaeological sites, the ruins that we see, the blocks of society that we don't see in everyday life. So, yeah, I will pass the mic to Madhvi, and she will talk more about her practice.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you to you all for coming, and for the private museum for having us here. Okay, thank you all for coming, and thank you to the private museum. So, yeah, these are again a view of the show, and so I'm going to mention a little bit about this work, but then go on to my previous work that gives a sort of a precursor into how some of these works came about. The work on the left is called Connect, Disconnect, and it's really so the works, like Aaron pointed out, is they're very much examining this connection between nature and urban culture. And the one on the left is very much a cityscape, and it has a lot of these buildings, windows, clusters of cities that are kind of connected. with the things that are sort of like pipes and wires and things that connect us through the unseen, from the underneath, from behind, connect people from one to the other, and is completely devoid of nature. And then you have the forest of shadows on the other end, which is again is a wall of trees, sort of almost like they're printed on the wall, but they're actually shadows. And so the object that you see is the tree, but actually that's just a shadow. It's intangible. It's not something that you can hold on to. And the object that creates it becomes like a shadow underneath. So I like playing with those perceptions and things that make people question what is it and how and why and how, so that it allows them their own entry point into the show and into questioning what it's about. Yeah, so this one is one of my old works, and fully expanded. Yeah. So I'll just let you watch this. It's only 20 seconds. There's a still of this one. Can we put that one up? There's a still of Earth's Whispers. So anyways, that work was what I call a performing, it's a performance, but it's a performing object. It's the object that's performing. There's a still of that work if you can find it. It's right now. So just go back. I can switch this window off. Yeah, switch this window off. And down there, no, go to the number 6. Can you see number 6? Yeah, just click on that. Yeah. Yeah, so this work was really, this still really shows you what it is. It's these tower blocks, and they were set on a bed of mud with the bricks. And there's a little robotic light that goes back and forth. So, sort of allowing the object to, making the object kind of move, and gets you to see the movement of this constant change that is happening around us, and how cities are constantly evolving and changing. And what happens is you hardly notice the mud and the earth that is being pushed under the concrete, and it's going further and further away from us. So nature in that sense is going further and further away. And yet what you look at is this, this red earthy color concrete, earthy color buildings, obviously a cityscape, but they're made out of this red, warm concrete, and they're sitting on this bed of mud. So it's sort of, it's kind of playing that question in your head that I am seeing a cityscape, yet it has this strong reference to the earth, and so the questioning about what happens when we are so far away from nature, in higher and higher away from the ground, the ground going deeper and deeper beneath the concrete. So that's what this was, and the sounds were sounds of nature. So you're listening, you're sitting there, you're listening to crickets and bees and things like that. So it's sort of it's completely clashing in the sense of what you're seeing and what you're hearing, and yet you're looking at the earth. So it's sort of it's bringing up those questions about where is the earth gone, and what's happening with nature, and how far we are from it, or our connection to it. So that's one of the works that sort of led me into then the connect disconnect work that I showed about the windows. Also, floor plan comes from this sort of questioning, and because when you're looking at a city, it's so the windows are what you see the maximum. The skyrise has little windows all over the place, and so these were like, this would be a kind of a precursor into those works. Can we get the next slide, Sam? So this one is called In the Shadow of the Trees, and then there are these building-like forms, and they create tree-like forms at the back. And so this was again the same kind of questioning about what happens when trees are cut down, which is what, urbanization on the rise. I believe by 2050 we'll have the entire Earth's population today living in cities. So obviously the population will be larger, but huge, something like 80% of the world's population will be in cities. So that's what this work is really talking about, that what happens with urbanization and it's happening all over the world is trees are being cut and roads are being built, buildings are being built, and we kind of even forget that the tree existed. I mean, no collective memory also doesn't remain of trees when they are being cut off. So this was, in the shadow of the trees, so there are little building-like structures down below with tree-like, trees looming up as if they're in sense forgotten or in memory, or they're kind of left behind somewhere in our psyche. So and then go to the next image. This one is from the Mapamundi series, and again, the last one, which is In the Shadow of the Trees, it connects, is where it was a precursor for my Forest of Shadows. That's where my Forest of Shadows came from. It seems like a real long stretch, but it really was one of those things of trying to distill down an idea to get the essence of it, and trying to get to the very, very, very essence of something. And that's how I literally found Forest of Shadows, which is sort of a lot of searching and working on completely different trajectories, and then suddenly this thing shows up right in front of me. So it was sort of, and then this is from the series called Mapamundi, and again, these are disc-like forms, and you'll see a few forms we'll show as well. Urban fabric, city leaves. They also have similar organic disc, seed-like disc structures. And then the maps on these, the Mapamundi series were really inspired by the European 16th century map, which were called Mapamundis. And they were, the two things that I really like about them was that they were round and they were inaccurate. So these are my completely inaccurate and round maps. And they are maps of my cities that I live in, and the one that I go to, which is my city of birth, Mumbai, and I go back and forth. And they're tracing routes of these, of my journeys through my memory. So that work informed, like I said, the other two works that I have in the show, as well as the floor plan, which is, floor plan is really viewing the works from above ground, and when you look down, you see little settlements or things like that, or you see rooftops, and then you go further down and you see floor plans and architectural structures. So it's sort of this multi-layer level thing that you kind of go through, and it's really a residue. It's really like one of Nandita's seeds that held something, a structure or an archaeological site somewhere. It's either in the process of becoming one, or it was something left behind. So it's sort of in that in-between stage. So we've just picked 3 images to talk about as precursors to what this work in the show has come to. So I think more will come up with questions.
Hi everybody, thanks for coming. It's lovely to see all of you here. I want to also thank the Private Museum for this opportunity to share about my work with you guys, and to Andrea, who has also very patiently, taking the time to understand our practices and write so well about them. Thanks. So, the next slide. just like Madhvi, I too will talk about a few of my previous works which informed the works in the show downstairs. So in the past few years, I have been going to a lot of artist residencies in forest areas in different parts of the world. So living in these forest areas and the contrast of that to my life here in Singapore is what has informed my practice in a big way. So when I'm there, I will often I will sit on the forest floor and I will sketch the flowers, and I'm always amazed by the things I'm sketching. The next day they are gone, and the things that I find so very amazing, and I think they are wonderful, but then nobody has seen them and they are lost. So nature always giving its best, irrespective of anybody seeing it or not seeing it. So there are many things in nature that really inspire me, that make me think in a very different way. But all that inspiration, that perspective, that sense of connection, that groundedness, when I come back to the city, I tend to lose it. So in my work, I'm trying to capture it and try to kind of think about why I can't have it here or how I can have it here. So these are the themes that I tend to explore in my work in different ways. So in several of my residencies, I have worked with materials straight from the forest. So for example here, what you see in front of you is dead plants that I got from the forest floor, and I hung them in this kind of, it only shows part of it. This was a huge vale, it was 2 stories high and extends the other way. And so I hung it and I was thinking about fragility and ephemerality, because these were one step away from being trod and into dust. But then from that dust comes the next generation of plants and growth and everything else. So in nature, I'm very aware of these cycles that nothing ever finishes, and it's always a repetitive cycle of time. And I hang them in these kind of vales. I was thinking of urban vales, which later I explored in a very city context. But what I was thinking about is that even when we do experience nature, we seldom have a chance to go out and really immerse ourselves within it. We often see it through a window, through a car window, or through a camera lens, or through a phone screen. We have our devices with us, and we have so many things going on in our heads. All of these things I see as a kind of veil that comes between us and the natural world. And this idea of urban veil I have kind of explored in these works, as well as using urban materials. And that idea is kind of being with me and come out in many different forms. So you will see I will be visiting it again, some of the works downstairs. There are also some photographs here which were done together with, and they are in the show downstairs. They were done together with another artist who was in residence with me in Spain. This is one of the residencies that the private museum actually sponsored. So I'm very grateful to them for that. When I was there in Spain, I was this artist and I, she also had this very deep connection to nature, and we would go out and spend time in the mountains. It was a time of really immersing ourselves, being aware of how our bodies are very organic, just like nature, and we are really connected to nature. So exploring ideas of connection, here I've used wheat, and then and this is dead plants. Then at the back there are seeds, some of which you will see in the installations downstairs. And she is a performance artist. She has worn these materials on her body, and we have photographed that. And each of these materials kind of is talking about the connection of the human body as well as nature. So for example, wheat, it actually nourishes us. Seeds talk of potentiality and unborn things. But our bodies are also about that. Our minds are about potentiality. Our bodies are fertile. So, and the other works using the dead plants talks about the fragility of life itself. So these are some of the concepts that were explored in these works. This was a work I did at the Singapore Art Museum, where we have got the same seeds from Spain. They are about, so the walls are lined with seeds. They are about 25,000 seeds, cypress seeds and pine cones combined. So again, I'm thinking of this concept of the unborn, the idea of potential, how a small seed has the potential to be a tree, a forest, and support the entire ecosystem. And in the center, what you see is this tree-like form. It's actually inspired by the very old trees in Singapore. And I like to walk around on the East Coast Park, and they have these very beautiful old trees there, which I really love. And when I see those trees, I'm very aware that my life, whatever we walk under those trees and we talk about our stories and our worries and our problems, but those trees have been around before we were born, and after we are dead, along with our worries, they will still be around. So there's this huge sense of peace that I get from the trees. And so what I did in this work is I took newspapers. Newspapers kind of have like the stories of our times in them. And I've dissolved them into natural material like vegetables and plants and henna and turmeric and stuff like that, coffee. And that's what this is made of, to kind of think about how our stories will be dissolved within the natural order. This is another work in which, I have been thinking about decay and blossoming at the same time, and this work is called Blossom, Flourish, Wither, Perish. This was done for a biennale in Sweden, and what you see is dried flowers. These dried flowers were contributed by the people of the city. In Sweden the weather is such that they can actually dry their flowers. Not here, we cannot do that. But they can dry their flowers, their bouquets, and keep them for decades and for a very long period of time. So the people of the city, we asked them to contribute their dried flowers, and people came forward with the bouquets they had from their wedding bouquets, their Valentine's Day bouquets. So a lot of things to do with occasions of joy. But at the same time, we got a lot of flowers from hospitals and from funeral wreaths. So, flowers actually enter into so many aspects of people's lives, the joys and the sorrows. And they were very fragile, and yet many of them had maintained their color. So, putting them, and the bouquets came and they had notes on them. Some of the notes talked about these bouquets which were like, from time before I was born. And women, a lot of them were women who came with the flowers because they had been saving these. And they were very emotional when they kind of shared their stories of, how some of them were from funerals and some of them were, talking about this is from my first wedding, this is from my second wedding. So it was a very emotional work to kind of put together and to feel that somebody has trusted me with their memories to put into this artwork. But this was one of the times when I was thinking about, how blossoming, like flowers are about blossoming, about flourishing, but also about decay. And these are just like aspects of life that, everything is fragile, transitory. So in the flowers we see flowers where they are decaying, but the same is true for our life. And it's kind of dealing with that, so these were the works that have informed the works that happened downstairs.
For sharing your thoughts. At this point in time, we're sort of having a bit more of a discussion between all of us here on the floor, and actually it's also an opportunity for yourselves to ask questions. If you've seen the show, or if you happen to know about the artist's works, or are now able to understand their practices a bit better, this is an opportunity for you to ask questions. But before that, maybe I'll ask some of my own questions. So I've actually had the opportunity, as Nandita mentioned, we've actually sat down together on a number of occasions to really understand each other's practice, because it's evident that they're all speaking about the same topic, but they're arriving at this topic from various different avenues. So it could, one, be from their own personal experiences, or else really through the mediums that they work with. So I'm going to ask some questions that we I didn't get the opportunity to really flesh out, perhaps in the catalogue, in the essay. So one of them first, actually this is one we discussed at great length before, was about shadows. So I wanted to revisit this topic because something that's quite evident as you've seen in the pictures, but you'll see again in greater strength when you enter into the space, is how the light plays a significant part in casting a very different strength around the work. I mean, through the shadows then that the artworks present. So I wondered if each of you could talk about your own experiences with this this idea of shadow play in your work. And I know it's quite important to both of you, but maybe the audience can hear it in your own words.
Recently I've been very interested in the role the shadow plays in adding yet another dimension to the three-dimensional works already, because it sort of brings in another perspective and another feel to it. So very often you read something by when you see the shadow, like in the Forest of Shadows, you read the trees, but they're actually just the shadow of the object that's casting the shadow, but it looks like an object, but yet it's intangible. The shadow is something that you can't hold on to, it's something that is ephemeral, it's something that shifts and changes its shape with the change of the light. So it has this this sort of movement, ability to make a movement and you know, shift and change more than the object can. So I quite enjoy that, as well as the ephemerality and the intangibility of it. It sort of reflects in the subject matter when you're thinking either of nature, ourselves, or even cities for that matter. Things come and they go, and it's, you know, it's the cycle of life in that sense. So I quite enjoy working with the shadows. It's becoming something that I've been doing for the last few years.
Can you put up the installation view with the urban way? So you can see that the colorful work in the center, it has some shadows below. So the shadows kind of play an emphasizing role in this work. I started using cloth and creating these forms which were informed by ideas of growth and decay both. So those were the forms that I was looking at, but then I started using urban materials and specifically cloths to think about the urban ways, the screens that come between us and nature. So the shadows in my work basically tend to emphasize the cloth, the veil-like quality of the cloth, and I've used the cloth, when you see the work downstairs, I've used the cloth in such a way that the threads, the interwovenness of the threads is very apparent. And for me it helps to think about the interconnection between city and nature, between people living in the city, between so many, so many levels of connection. So that's what the interwoven threads are about. And then the shadows actually pick up those interwoven threads and they further kind of emphasize the things that I'm thinking about. So for me the shadows is really emphasizing the materiality of the work.
So at this point, maybe we can ask the audience if you have any questions for the artists. I have more questions, but I don't want to sort of, I don't think you want to hear from me necessarily. Yes?
Can I just share a thought? Is it okay? I just want to share a thought because I find it so interesting in regards to the shadow. I just came from a small book chat with dementia patients, and when you were talking about the use of the shadow and the city and I'm just thinking that so often we have taken granted the people with dementia, like they seems like a shadow in the city, usually not observed or inside, and you've just given me this power that they actually could create another dimension to make the whole picture complete. And also that it's something that people have forgotten, put away, but they forget the importance of the lives of these people, even present. That's the thought that comes to mind in my heart. Just want to share. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. There's another question back.
Reporting back to your older series works, we seem to have seen a lot of references to the organic or objects coming within the realm of nature, because you were working with ant hills, seed pods, and it seems like the last couple of series, there is a response to the realm of the man-made. You responded more to cities and urbanization. So is it possible for you to unpack what leads to this shift in thematic choices that we're making?
So what Priya is referring to is for several years I've done a lot of work on a lot of organic forms like seeds and pods and things like that. For me, my work really comes from my life and what is happening in my life at that point. So I think it was when I was working with seeds and pods, a lot of that was coming from the point of being a mother, having had children, this whole question, this whole thing of this admiration and this amazement at fertility and the beauty of these things where the seed pods were coming. But they are also very connected, the seed pods are also very connected to my life of very migratory life. I've moved quite a lot through the years, and just like that, the seeds and pods also move around. They have to be carried by water or wind or something, and they go and they land somewhere and then they germinate right there. So they've been also very much, and I wouldn't say it's like a complete shift, but it's certainly the city is coming a lot more into my work, and nature is something that I'm kind of correlating with what is happening with the, so in some of the works that also precursor to the Forest of Shadows was a large work that was done. It's called Germination, and that was made up of cones. So I don't know, it's hard to describe without showing it, but it's really very much like the Forest of Shadows, where there are little cones that are on the wall and they cast shadows. And these cones, and it's called germination, so it looks like as if it's these little seed shoots coming out, but actually the cones are drawn from the cones of the traffic light, the traffic diverting cones. So it's kind of exciting for me to play with something that is seems very structured, like even if you look at connect, disconnect, it seems like a very structured thing, but if you look closely, you will find my fingerprints in there, you will find the shape of the pieces all have my, the organic nature, and they're not straight lines, they appear to be, there really nothing is straight in there, they're very organic in the way they are, and then the connectors, the wires, the things, I really like little roots and things like that coming. In fact, there was a section in this installation that I had built of roots, and I was thinking of maybe having the roots in there, and then last minute when I was installing it, I thought, it doesn't work, so it's gone. So it's been shelved, it'll come back again somewhere. But so the organic hasn't really gone away, it's there very much even now in the works, and the city is certainly coming up a lot more, which I'm taking that thread and enjoying that as well. So.
Yes, Pamela? I don't think the mic can reach there, sorry.
This is for both Nandita and Madhvi. I'm just curious how over the years, and there's a huge trend of both your works over the years. I'm curious how over the years your relationship with nature has even any sort of personal nuances or anything that has changed for you in your relationship with nature and the materials over the years.
No, I don't think anything has changed so much as the only thing that ever changes is how much access I have to, to the natural landscape, because I live here in the city. And so sometimes it's more about revisiting the thoughts I had there and the materials I collected from there, and trying to derive my inspiration from there. And sometimes it's when I'm there, it's more about collecting those thoughts, those drawings, those materials, and then bringing them back here, and then chewing over them, and trying to see like what comes out of it. So it's kind of like one is like research, and one is just working in the studio like this. That's how I would see it.
Yeah, interestingly, my relationship with nature has strengthened living in Singapore versus because I go back and forth to India a lot, and Mumbai is my city of birth that I go back and forth, and a lot of my friends who do the same thing, going between back and forth between India and Singapore. We land in Singapore, and the first thing we go, you see the green, and you feel really good about seeing that greenery. I mean, it's just natural. The shift is just so, the change is so diverse, so stark. When you're in a crazy developing country like India, where everything is like constant on hyper mode, and then and you don't see the trees are being cut down left, right, and center. The roads are being built, and you come here, and the greenery is the first thing that hits you. So it kind of that's again where my work is, this dialogue between nature and the city. But mind you, having said that, I've done another work which had to do with Singapore and Singapore trees and stuff like that, which is where I discovered that the indigenous trees of Singapore had been wiped out during colonial times when they were fully rubber plantation island. So we don't actually have our indigenous trees, although you see all this green, they're actually, the rain tree is not a Singapore tree. So it's very interesting to think that there is that other layer.
I have a question I wanted to ask. This is a dual show, and there are a lot of, you can see the various different series that you've actually featured here. But it is collaborative in some sense. When it's a solo show, it's a solo show. When it's a group show, you might have just one work from each of the 10 artists. But in a dual show, it's quite a different dynamic because it's two very strong artists, very strong-minded artists with works that resonate in that sense. I just wanted to understand more about this. It is a collaboration in a way, because when it came down to the space and how you're working with presenting your works, I'm interested to understand the negotiations that may have experienced, or else the kind of understanding in exhibition making that you have grown out of this experience as well. It can even be, and this includes Aaron as well, but maybe, I don't know whether Aaron wants to start or the artist wants to start.
We both refer to Aaron.
So in this process, I would consider myself as the weaver in tying both their works together. And what I was really interested in both their works is really about the importance of nature. And I find it quite ironic that sometimes when people say, what is nature? And actually we are nature. We come from nature. And we, with this urbanization, we tend to recreate nature and in a way create our own nature. So one of the questions that came up during our discussion was that, does nature exist only because we perceive it, or it exists as it is? So this exhibition really focuses on that, and the presentation and the vision of the exhibition is based on this premise. It's really commenting on the fact that actually we are one and the same. There's no separation. It's a big interconnectedness that we experience. And we may experience our own realities, but the bigger reality is that we are part of nature. Yeah. So the process, it was very interesting. We worked very well as a team. We discussed the ideas, and both of the works informed each other during the final presentation. Of course, there are many factors to consider when it comes to exhibition making. So there should be fair presentation, there should be a flow within the space, etc. You can see it downstairs. Yeah. So I think their works pair quite nicely together, and they do create new conversations about the concept of nature as well.
And what I really enjoyed is it's because the installation works, they're not things that you just bring and put on the wall. Both of us were installing and actually creating the works simultaneously. So a lot of the works were being done right there, and it was very interesting to be in the same space and you know, in our own corners doing our own thing, but then think, oh my gosh, that's what's happening, that's what's happening. So it's very exciting.
So we had the luxury of time actually. We had about a week or so before the opening. So we really took the time to, you know, adjust, edit, and come back and respond to the site over and over again. And I think, yeah, kind of pretty good.
I think they pretty much summed up everything. Like Madhvi says, because it was installation works respond to the site, they also respond to the other works within the space. So it was challenging, and we had to like kind of think about which work will work with this, which work, you know, so there was a lot of thinking on those aspects which the three of us did together, you know, like this work really has to be in this space, but then if this is here, then only this work can come here, etc. So it was quite interesting and quite stimulating the whole process of looking at it.
So I guess I had a follow-up question to the presentation, because as Aaron said, they were well ahead of schedule with the presentation, the installation, and they had that time to step back and tweak things and look at the space again. And then I found out later on that Madhvi added something to one of her works, and but I think that was quite important, because you may not necessarily have realized until that piece that they're working that piece particularly, and she had been thinking about site specificity. Like there were some works that she wanted to be site specific to the private museum, because she wanted to work with the cracks in the gallery's floor, much like how she's working with mapping and the way that provides some sort of information. So could you tell us a bit more about what you introduced for those who haven't seen it yet?
Yeah. So when I first walked into the private museum, unlike everybody else, I was drawn to the cracks on the floor, and I thought they were so exciting, and I couldn't get over that. And you know, it was just you know, nobody wants to look at those, but I actually really was drawn by them, because I'm very influenced by space, and I love the way work responds to space, and how space changes the work and how work changes the space. So the floor plan was the last, and so actually when I went back in the studio, I said I'm going to do something with the cracks, and I started looking at the cracks in my studio floor and started working on a body of work that had to do with that cracks. But it just didn't work. It just wasn't getting where I wanted it to go, and so I said, okay, too bad, I'm not going to be able to use these. However much I love the cracks, I'm not going to be able to do anything with it. So I forgot about it. I did the work. I knew I was going to have a floor piece, but I had no idea where this floor plan work was going to be set. That was the last work we set on the floor, because it was the last, you know, it made sense for it to be the last work. So the floor space was kind of open, and I had to figure out where I was putting it. Then the cracks showed up, and I said, oh my god, here they are, I can finally use them. So I placed the floor plan sort of along the cracks, and then just after we had set up everything, I told Aaron, okay, now I'm going to do one more thing, is fill the cracks with gold. And he said, really? I said, yeah, please let me do it. So we agreed, and I filled the crack on there with the gold, which is a technique, a Japanese technique called kintsugi, which I have used in my earlier works. You know, kintsugi is more a philosophy than a technique where when cracked pots are kind of filled, joined together and highlighted, the cracks are highlighted with gold. And the philosophical aspect of that is, you know, when something is cracked or it's incomplete or it's imperfect is when the beauty really shows up. So for me, the cracks on the private museum floor were really the history of the private museum is right there. You know, they're actually footprints if you look closely. And I thought, oh, I'll wipe those off after I do that. Realize they're part of the history of the private museum. So it made it even more richer. So you know, it was I was super excited with putting the gold in there. Calling the river of gold, and Nandita would laugh at me, you know, all the story.
And Madhvi would be like, there's a river flowing here. And it's like, where's the river?
Yeah, so the work that Madhvi was speaking about is that work over there. It's called floor plan. And when we were laying the layouts of it, we realized that there is a very beautiful crack that divides the work a little bit. And we figured that we said, it looks like a stream of river, and then Madhvi was inspired and decided to, I'm going to put this whole stream into there. So that was, I think, it's a lovely touch, responding to the site as well as the history of this building. So this building is the former Catholic high school, and it's considered a heritage center. And then this was actually the former, this space itself was the, if I'm not wrong, was the teacher's office. Yeah.
No, it was for
The priest.
even more important.
Are there any other questions for the artists or else?
I think this can stretch perhaps.
So it sounds like the three of you were basically not just installing but also curating as you were going. Is that how, is that what evolved out of it, or were you absolutely sure that you were working on this side of
No, it was very fluid. Also, our works are very fluid, you know, Nandita's works as well as mine. They can shift around and they'll change. The reading of it will change, and they'll also change the space.
I think it's more, how would I put it? It's more complex in a duo show. You really have to be more flexible and more fluid in your process, especially when all the works are here and you're seeing them together for the first time. So as compared to a solo show where everything pre-planned.
Any other questions? I don't know if you want to say anything about the catalogue.
So the catalogue was intentionally delayed. Yeah. Because we want to have all these lovely images from the exhibition space that will be included into the catalogue. So the catalogue, is available. You can support us by donating $50 if you want it. And in there, there are amazing images of the exhibition view and of the individual works as well. And of course, Andrea's lovely essay. Please have a read of it. Yeah. To find out more about their individual practices.
Thank you so much for attending our artist talk on this Saturday. Please do have another look at the exhibition now with a renewed understanding perhaps of what their practices are like. Thank you so much. We'll be around to answer any other questions if you'd like to speak to us personally. Thank you.